This trip was made possible by Affinity Photo. It's a photo editing software ideal for professionals and amateurs alike. Adjust exposure, create layers, prepare shots for the web, just some of the thousands of functions you can use. I've been using it for the past couple of years and find it's quick, easy to pick up and no subscription fees. So why not check them out in the link below.
Camera controls can be a little bit confusing with numbers tossed around all over the place, but I'm going to go through the 3 things that you need to know. And the first one is aperture. So the aperture is an iris, and that's located in the lens. Now you can control this through your camera to expand and contract. Now a large aperture is a low number, confusingly, so 2.8 for example is a big aperture, and that lets in lots of light. As a result, you get a shallow depth of field, meaning the background is blurry. This can be great for wildlife because anything distracting in the background can be completely blurred out and all the attention is on the animal that you're photographing. You can go for a mid-range aperture, so more of the animal will be in focus and you'll still have a bit of blur in the background. Or you can go for the landscape photographer's favourite, f/22, where you've got a huge depth of field, the majority of the picture's in focus, so if you've got an animal and a really interesting background, then you might want to show that off. And essentially that's all aperture is, how much of the picture's in focus. And you can control this really easily through your camera. Some of them have rings, more commonly it's digital, and you can choose the aperture that's best going to suit your images. In an ideal situation, it's good to do different apertures and work out which one best suits your subjects, but obviously wildlife doesn't always hang around to let us do that. So the next one is shutter speed. The shutter itself is in the camera, and you trigger that every time you press the button down. Now a fast shutter speed is ideal for getting those shots of birds in action or any wildlife that's moving quickly and you want to freeze it. It works in fractions of a second, so 1/4000th is 1/4000th of a second, so really, really quick. Whereas say 1/30th is 1/30th of a second. So if you have a quick moving subject, it's going to be a little bit more blurry. But you can use this to your advantage and get more artistic shots. So the third and final one is ISO. So 100 ISO is at the beginning. This is the least sensitive, so you'd use this on a bright sunny day. The advantage of using a low ISO is that you get great detail, crisp images and not a lot of noise. Now noise pops up in the images when you use a higher ISO. Say for example 6400, you show a lot of digital noise. It used to be a big problem in the film days, but the reality is with more modern cameras, they can handle it a lot better, and you can use post-processing, such as Affinity, to denoise your images and bring them back in line to something more acceptable. It's essentially a question of light on the day. If it's a bright sunny day, we typically use a low ISO. If it's overcast like today, I'd maybe use somewhere in the middle, like 400, and if it was a dark day or maybe I was shooting at night, I'd use a much higher ISO. Of course, all 3 of these things work in conjunction with each other. So if you use a big aperture, lets in lots of light, you get a fast shutter speed. The best thing to do is prioritise one of the settings. Work out what you want. Do you want a sharp image? Then you need a fast shutter speed and lots of lighting. Do you want a blurry image? Then you need a slow shutter speed. Work out what you want from your pictures and you'll get great results.
Thanks for watching, tune into the next film. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and like, share and subscribe. Until next time, cheers.